Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching and Self-Reliance You. Remember, your life, your dreams, your goals, your career are all essential. Always continue to apply combined wisdom to everything in your life every single day. If you haven't already, please sign up for my YouTube channel, Playing It Forward Coaching, and appreciate it very, very much. Today, I'm very, very happy to have a good friend of mine, Mr. Jay Kipp, math teacher and coach and football official extraordinaire here, and we're going to hear his story. He is quite a very, very good one with everything he did in school and college and beyond. And so welcome, Jay. Glad you're here.
Thanks for having me, Tim. I appreciate it.
So go ahead, go right ahead and kind of give us your story, your background, and glad you're here. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not sure how far back you want me to go, but I would say if I went probably the whole way back, I grew up in a sports family. I have two older brothers. Both were sports inclined. I know some families are, racing families, and some are hunting families and do different things. My family was always sports. My father was an exceptional baseball player in his day. Told me that the Brooklyn Dodgers back in the day were interested in signing him, but he was not permitted to sign from his family. But the three of us all played at least 3 sports in high school. My oldest brother, he actually had 4 varsity letters in high school. So I grew up watching sports, playing sports, and it didn't matter what was going on. I wanted to be, shooting a basketball or hitting a baseball. That's just what I enjoyed doing. Most of the time that I was playing growing up, I was playing against older competition, which I always thought in the long run was a good thing. Mm-hmm. It made me better. I took my beatings and I took my lumps along the way. But it was, I learned kind of to survive and how to become a better player and a better teammate that way.
What was the age difference with you and your brothers? Because I'm the oldest of 6, and I had 3 younger brothers, so I know exactly the dynamic you're talking about. How much older were they?
My middle brother is 9 years older than I am, and my oldest brother is 15 years older. So, okay. When I was growing up, I was watching them play, high school sports, and they're different activities that they did.
Right. Yeah, my youngest brother, Dave, turned out to be, the best athlete of us because of that, your exact dynamic about, having to stay up with the other ones for sure. So,
yeah. So I had an aunt who was an exceptional athlete. She played basketball at Lock Haven. She eventually became, she spent time at, Iowa State at the Cyclones, mm-hmm. Women's athletic director there for a few years. She said back in like the Title IX days, the early 70s. So it was kind of a rough time for the women's athletics as they were coming up. And she was very much into sports as well. So a lot of times, even though she lived out of state, she would try to find me and, catch up on sports and, always taking pictures of me and so on. So again, our family and our lifestyle was much related around sports.
And what were some of the life lessons and things that you learned from the sports you're involved with, Jay?
Well, I think anytime you get involved in sports, it's a microcosm of life. Mm-hmm. You learn about teamwork, you learn about with others, you learn about commitment. There were lots of days where you didn't really feel like going to practice, or maybe you weren't motivated to, but you did. You learned about the heartbreaks. So, you had a bad night and things didn't go your way, and you learned about losing. You learned about picking yourself, back up again and going out and trying again. And I was actually, my career in high school was actually, I was pretty fortunate, and I'm not real big on talking about it because it was successful. We had, I was the quarterback on the football team, in my high school football team, and we were a smaller school. Back then it was AA. Mm-hmm. When they had 4 classifications here in Pennsylvania. And our team was fortunate enough that we had gone undefeated and won the district championship. We beat DeLone Catholic in the championship that year in 1987. That was actually the last year that Pennsylvania did not have state playoffs. So we won districts, and then that was the end of it.
What was the name of your high school, Jay?
Juniata High School.
Oh, Juniata. Okay. Uh-huh.
It's in Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. Not to be confused with Juniata College, which is in Huntington. It's about an hour apart. Everybody confuses those two. But we were a pretty small school. And in basketball, I did pretty well in basketball. I was a 1,000-point scorer, the first one we had at our high school in the history of the high school.
Wow.
We weren't really known as a basketball school. We were more of a wrestling and football school. So basketball wasn't really on the map as much. And then eventually I played 4 years of baseball, varsity baseball, and I chose baseball when I went to college then. So you were asking about what sort of things did I learn? I've been really fortunate through my life to have some tremendous coaches. And it's amazing how much of a difference a coach can make in your life. My football coach was a man by the name of Gary Clansmith, and he was a Penn State football running back prior to Joe Paterno being the head coach. So he was there when Rick was the coach. He took over my high school pretty much a few months after I was born in 1969, and he coached there for 50 years until he retired 2 years ago. And again, I know that because pretty much my entire life, like he took the job at the high school a few months before I was born, and he was there ever since. He still lived the whole time, still lives right across the street from the high school. Never had to drive to work. He walked back and forth to work every day. He was just a tremendous role model, and I really enjoyed having him as a coach in those years. Not to mention the fact that he's actually deaf. He lost his hearing when he was about 6 years old as a kid. Played at Penn State without being able to hear, and then he was our varsity football coach for 50 years. He was also the assistant wrestling coach for probably 25, 30 years, and he was the track coach for 25 or 30 years. So when you talk about commitment and, and really being a person you can rely on and count, he was certainly one of those kind of people. And I still see him once in a while. We get to play, some cards every once in a while and enjoy talking with him a little bit. My basketball coach was a man by the name of Ed Foley, who left our high school and went to Hershey High School then and had a pretty successful coaching career there as well. And my high school baseball coach was Steve Draubus, who also coached probably 25, 30 years at our high school and eventually became the principal. So all just outstanding coaches and men. And, if you're looking for role models, they would have been three good ones to choose from.
Sure. Well, they, as you said, having a good coach is so very, very important. And you've done some coaching yourself, Jay, as well as, a lot of other things, officiating, et cetera. What are some of the things that you would try to, put and apply to, the kids that you've coached before?
Well, I think it goes beyond just the winning and losing. It goes more about, are we trying to prepare kids for after high school? And they're going to be good friends to other people. They're going to be a good employee or a good business owner someday, or whatever they choose to do in their profession. You're trying to instill that too. So you try to do that through the coaching process. Showing up on time, being there and doing what you're supposed to do, and taking care of your responsibilities. All of those things hopefully transfers over to real life when that occurs after their playing days are done.
Sure. Well, and I've mentioned this with a couple of other people I've talked to. The great thing about sports or the other extracurricular activities that kids should get involved with, not everybody's sports, but you can be in the school play, you can be in the marching band, orchestra, whatever. That discipline, that it's almost, certainly during this year of COVID, it's almost like you're given an extra suit of armor, because it's been a very tough year. And I think people that have gone through sports and athletics, the up and downs, or some of the extracurricular things where you had to work as a team, push each other, and that kind of thing has helped, all of us emotionally through a challenging year. So I absolutely, you're preaching to the choir when you talk about the importance of sports and the advantages, for each of us. That's for sure.
Right. And all those extracurriculars you're talking about are great. They're great modes to learn those kinds of skills. And I try and tell my, get involved, join those, join the the theater, enjoying the music, enjoying even the clubs that you get involved with, those kinds of things, because they all help out with those time management and responsibility and commitment and those types of things that are really translate later in life as well.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's for sure. So, what as far as going forward with your life and career, I know you had some back surgery recently, and everything's coming along okay with that.
Everything's going okay. I'm still pretty weak. I got a ways to go. We're going to try golf here pretty soon, maybe in another month or so when it gets a little bit warmer. I don't know how that'll go. But it was pretty involved surgery. I've, like I said, a lot of sports over the years. It takes a toll on the body, and I guess now is the time to catch up with it. And yeah, just something I had to do. And it kind of stings getting older. But again, I appreciate all the opportunities I was given to play growing up, and even after high school and college, I continued to play sandlot baseball for another 15 years. Always try and play pickup basketball when you can, just because I enjoy that camaraderie, and that to me, that's fun. That's relaxation. And it's just good times to spend with other people when you get the chance to. But as I'm getting older, I don't do that too much more anymore. It might be down to golf, and yeah, just the way it goes. But yeah, as far as feeling healthy, I do not have any pain anymore. So that has definitely subsided. It's just a matter now getting back into shape, and hopefully getting strong again, where I can get back to what I used to do and what I enjoy doing.
Sure. Well, Jay, this has been fantastic. Any last thoughts or things like that you'd like to share with anybody who may be watching this? And then please, by the way, make sure you hang around for a bit after we do stop the recording. So any last thoughts that you have here?
I would just say to, continue to get, even after your high school days are done, continue to be involved in things. I referee football, and we have a shortage of football referees, and I hear other sports are having the same thing. And people just I don't know if they don't want to do it anymore, or if it's not attractive to do anymore. Sometimes there's difficulty getting coaches. Sometimes there's difficulty, getting Little League volunteers, things like that. Always, if you have a successful, or if you have an enjoyable experience in your playing days, take that into what you learned there. Take that into what you're doing when you're coaching, and in my case, officiating. And for me, it's a way to give back, because I know when I'm playing, a lot of officials put in a lot of nights to allow me to play. So now it's my way of giving back a little bit.
Yeah, very well said, Jay. Very well said. Certainly agree with that. And anyway, appreciate you being on here today. And just a reminder for anybody that is not, please sign up for my Playing It Forward Coaching YouTube channel, and hear other great interviews with gentlemen like Jay Kipp and a number of other people, and just some great advice for teens and young adults looking to make their way up through the real world, because the real world expects you to produce, create some value, and work together with other people as best you possibly can. So Jay, thank you so very, very much, and just hang in there once we're off here, sir.
Appreciate it, Tim. Thanks for having me, and thanks for doing your series.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Take care.